Okay, so when a company like TNA with such a, deep history hits a big anniversary, how did they do it? How do they look back but also keep pushing forward? That's kind of the tightrope TNA Impact CT. Just walked in their latest show. Today, we are doing a deep dive into that TNA Impact C episode. It aired live June 19th, 2025, out of Tempe, Arizona, at the Mullet Arena. And our mission really is to pull out the key stuff from the show. The matches, any big surprises, the storylines, especially because it was TNA's 23rd anniversary. We want to give you that shortcut, help you understand what's developing and why this particular episode got people talking so much.
Yeah, and for this, we've looked at a bunch of detailed reports, the usual wrestling news spots like 411, 88correct.net, wrestling headlines, TPWW. But we also dug into fan reactions, specifically over on Reddit, R² Circle, just to get that real-time fan perspective. It gives you a pretty full picture of what was a really big night for TNA.
Right. Let's jump in. The obvious place to start, the thing that really framed the whole episode, was the 23rd anniversary celebration itself. And this wasn't just, cutting a cake. They really used their legacy, bringing back a classic match type that fans definitely remember.
Exactly. The big thing was bringing back the Champions Challenge match.
Yeah.
It was such a smart way to do it. You get the nod to history, the nostalgia, but you use it to push current talent and stories forward. It's exactly that balance you mentioned.
And the main event was this Champions Challenge. Two big teams. You had the All-Stars, Joe Hendry, Elijah, Leon Slater, and the Rascals, that super athletic group.
Yeah, always exciting to watch.
And they were up against the Champions team, Trick Williams, Moose, Steve Macklin, and the Nemeth brothers. Quite a lineup across the board there.
And the All-Stars actually got the win. Joe Hendry hit that tombstone pile driver on Ryan Nemeth for the pin. And look, this wasn't just a feel-good anniversary match win. This feels like TNA saying, okay, these are guys we're looking at closely.
Okay, so let's unpack that. What does that win really mean going forward? The sources we looked at are saying this puts Hendry, Elijah, Slater, the Rascals, it puts them right in line for title shots.
Prime position, yeah.
And the fans saw it too. Over on Reddit, lots of praise for the match, the way the teams worked. Someone actually just posted, Elijah is really the man. Simple as that.
Well, if you think about the booking, it makes sense. They use this beloved old format, the Champions Challenge, to instantly elevate these guys. Hendry, Elijah, Slater, the Rascals. They just use TNA history to boost their own stock, basically. Which, it makes you wonder, thinking about the momentum here, who do you think is going to be the first one to really make that jump and challenge for a belt? This match really shook things up.
So yeah, the anniversary part looked back, but also definitely pushed new faces. But the episode wasn't just about nostalgia. It was also really heating up some current conflicts, introducing new elements. Let's shift to that now, the rivalries and the surprises. There was some real tension building.
Absolutely. And it's interesting how quickly things can change within factions. Look at Order 4, Mustafa Ali's group. There was this really intense promo segment. Ali was basically grilling Tasha Steelz, Jason Hutch, and John Schuyler, putting them on the spot.
Right, and the key thing was Schuyler getting called out because he wouldn't apologize for something. It wasn't just a small thing. You could feel the crack forming in that unit.
Definitely.
And it leads directly to this call to arms match next week, Schuyler versus Ali. I mean, that's a clear sign things are breaking down in Order 4. Feels like a power play.
It really does. It shows even tight-knit groups can have internal issues, which always makes for good drama. And speaking of drama, we also got a pretty big surprise return.
Yeah, Jake something is back.
He is.
And what a way to come back. Ran in to help Tommy Dreamer, chased off Mance Warner and Steph DeLander. Talk about the impact of that return. What does it mean for Dreamer's whole situation?
Well, it's not just Jake something's back. Yay. It immediately gives you a match. Jake something versus Mance Warner. That's the kind of instant direction you want from a return like this. It gives Dreamer a much-needed powerful ally against Warner and DeLander, who've been a real problem for him. It just injects fresh energy right into that feud.
Okay, and the Knockouts division. Still bringing it. Real momentum there. We had Masha Slamovich and Lei Ying Lee against Ash and Heather by Elegance. Good match, but then interference.
Yeah, Killer Kelly got involved. That distraction was crucial. It let Ash and Heather steal the win. And that's big for them. The sources point out this gives them real momentum as tag contenders. They're keeping the pressure on the champs.
So multiple teams now really vying for those tag titles adds a lot of depth.
Exactly. The division feels really competitive right now.
So beyond those big stories, there are a couple of other matches worth touching on because of the implications. First, Eric Young versus Sami Callihan.
Right. EY got the win by pinfall. But the how is important here. The Northern Armory got involved while the ref was down. Now look, it's a classic finish.
Keeps Sammy strong while making EY and his group look dangerous.
Precisely. Young gets the W with his crew, Callahan doesn't really lose clean, and the Northern Armory looks like a unit you absolutely have to watch out for. It serves multiple storyline purposes.
Smart booking. And then there's Matt Cardona teaming up with a mystery partner.
The masked hometown man.
Yeah. Against the system, specifically Eddie Edwards and JDC.
And they actually pulled off the upset. Cardona got the pin on, I believe it was JDC.
But it didn't stop there.
No, not at all. Post-match, the system just jumps them, beats them down.
Yeah.
But then Cardona manages to fight back, even the score, as the reports put it.
So not just a match result, but immediate follow-up.
Exactly. That attack instantly creates heat, makes it personal. The system feels shown up. Cardona's not backing down, sets up more conflict right away.
Okay, so we've broken down the key parts. Stepping back, why was this more than just an anniversary show? What makes it feel like a milestone episode, as some sources called it? What's the big picture here for TNA?
That's the key question, I think. It felt like a milestone because it really showed TNA can do both things well. Honor the past and build the future simultaneously. That blend of nostalgia, like the Champions Challenge with genuinely new story developments, they pulled it off really effectively. They used the history to create new excitement.
And you can see it across the board. Rivalries are heating up, Jake. Something's Return adds a new dynamic. The Knockouts division is buzzing.
Yeah, the main roster, too. It feels like there's real forward momentum coming out of this show. Like a page is turning, maybe.
It felt like a fresh start, almost, but one that respected where they came from.
Yeah, which leads to maybe a question for you, the listener, to think about. How do all these different threads, the anniversary nods, the Order 4 split, Jake something, the Knockouts tag scene, how do they all weave together? What's the bigger story TNA is trying to tell about where it's heading right now?
That was a fantastic deep dive into this 23rd anniversary Impact TC. We really got into the important stuff, I think. Showed how this wasn't just looking back, but was really a launching pad for a whole lot of new, exciting directions for TNA.
Definitely feels like things are shifting. New contenders, established stars, facing new problems. It's dynamic.
Absolutely. So as you think about everything we talked about, the mix of veterans and new blood, the factions changing, the surprise returns, what do you see as the biggest thing for TNA right now? Is it an opportunity, a challenge? Where do you think all these new storylines are going to end up? And who do you predict will really rise to the top in the next few months? Lots to think about.